Hello everyone and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Wednesday, August 9th, 2017. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And please remember everyone, you can help support this show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet. In addition, we do go live on Facebook Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time. That's 7 p.m. on the East Coast, West Coast, and 10 p.m. on the East Coast. I can do time zones sometimes. Nathan, how are you today?
I'm doing good, so is my picture.
Yeah, looks real good. Looks real nice and completely haywire. This
is for you, Victor.
Just for you.
Specifically you, Victor.
It's because Nathan loves you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're wondering who Victor is, he's a random person that commented on YouTube that Nathan needed to straighten out his picture. And so
he also questioned my intention of not procreating in the near future, and I will assure you that is not by my choice.
Aww.
Oh.
I like how we have Michael Whiting in the chat room that's claiming first comment.
Hey! Damn, I haven't seen first in like 12 years.
Right? Since what? Like Neopets
Literally
forums?
The YouTube times.
Well, I was going to say like Neopets forums.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about Neopets. How could I forget?
Well, they're all dead. They're not...
That's not true. They stopped actually dying. Now they're just starving.
Yeah, forever.
Mm-hmm.
Eternal suffering. They're lonely and cold.
Mm-hmm.
Or something to that effect.
Yeah, something similar.
Something similar.
Mm-hmm.
So, you don't seem nearly as tired today. Have you consumed tons of caffeine, or did you get a decent amount of sleep, or what's going on?
Nope, I gave up on life.
Oh.
No, I don't know why I'm not tired, even though I am kind of tired. I guess I'm just hiding it well.
You're an adult. You're always kind of tired.
Yeah, there's no getting around it,
like,
no matter what.
Even my hyperactive self, like, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm always kind of tired.
Yeah, there's always that, like, tinge. You're like, man, I should probably close my eyes for at least 2 hours.
Yeah, there's always that thought of, I could take a nap. Didn't you just take one? What's your point? I don't understand what you're getting at.
Fuck, this chair is not moving the way I want it to.
Rude.
All right, there we go.
I like how you just headbutted your friggin'
I headbutted
webcam.
Nothing. I jiggled it with my leg.
Oh, you jiggled it with your leg?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Really now? Which leg,
yep.
Nathan?
My right leg.
Oh, well, fine.
I had to do the left and right thing for a second.
Be all serious then.
I'm really bad.
Man released from prison after spending 38 years under a wrongful conviction of murder.
This was submitted by Masonic to our news.
This baffles me. So this gentleman is named by the name of Frederick Clay, went to jail 38 years ago under the pretense that they believe that he murdered a cab driver in Roslindale. 38 years later, the group whose name, the Committee for Public Counsel Services, which is an innocent program of where, because, you know, we have a decent number of people who have been wrongly convicted, innocent people sitting in jail. It is this entire corporation's mission and goal to free people in jail that are wrongly imprisoned.
That's fucking awesome. Is it like wait, was that guy actually wrongly imprisoned? The making a murder or whatever it was?
I don't even know
the Netflix TV show Making a Murderer, I think it was called.
I don't know. I haven't actually seen it. I don't know what its premise. I'm very close word.
They were going over this murder that happened in like the 70s or 80s, with the point of view that the guy was innocent and they had all this evidence and everything, but the guy's still in prison. So there's this huge like thing where people were trying to get him out of prison, but he might have still done it. Nobody really actually knew or something. I don't remember exactly.
Well, in this case, they didn't have that much evidence, but they still managed to put this guy in prison for a life sentence. The two largest pieces of weight against him were two eyewitness accounts, both of which placed him at the scene and placed him as the murderer. One of which, and I am not joking, the eyewitness account was only given to accurately state and describe Frederick Clay after they had been mesmerized by a hypnotist.
That should not be allowed in court.
Well, and that's the argument that they're making today of like how, why That doesn't work. That would never work today, and it's amazing that it even worked then. Let this guy go.
Yeah. No, that's stupid.
Like, how?
I really don't know. That's fucking crazy.
Well, and also, my wonderful significant other, Jennifer over there, is currently taking a criminal justice course, and according to study, an eyewitness is one of the weakest forms of evidence that you can present, because people don't know what they know.
People lie.
Well, and also people don't know what they know or know what they remember. I mean, like, there have been cases where they have, like, interviewed 10 people that were all there, and everyone vaguely remembers sort of the same things, but not enough details because we're not actually paying that close of attention.
There's a psychological thing that people oftentimes will do, and it's where they convince themselves of a false memory, and they like, you can convince yourself of a false memory within a couple hours.
Oh, sure, yeah. This is what I saw. I know it. I remember it clearly in my mind. And
you very well do not remember it clearly in your mind because it's a false memory. It might not have even happened.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that people... Okay, so a lot of people will have false memories. That doesn't make it, like, where people shouldn't be allowed to be in court and say their perspective. But I do agree that it should not be as... Or it should be more dismissible than actual more hard concrete evidence.
Sure.
Yeah.
But either way, so this guy is being set free at the nice young age of, 54? He went to jail when he was 16.
God damn.
Yep, he's being introduced into a transitional program in Lowell so that he can get reacquainted with society and how the world has changed in almost 40 years.
Hey, Bobby.
Why are you blowing kisses to people, man?
Well, first it's Bobby, and second, I'm dropping everything. Second, Bobby blew a kiss to me in the chat.
How do you know it was to you? Why couldn't it have been to me?
Because you're you and I'm me.
Well, okay, fine when you have to put it like that.
9.
200 liters of fuel made from solar power and the air's carbon dioxide.
This is submitted by DesignWise to our uplifting news.
So in the pursuit of green energy, clean energy, and just future as we see it, they have now...
Mean, green, clean energy. Ooh, brother. You better sit down and eat your vitamins.
Where did that come from?
That's that's kind of like...
Is that one of his lines?
That you better eat your vitamins, brother?
The good, clean, green energy part.
No, I just kind of... I felt like that would be a great promo for him.
Sure. Is he still alive?
Hulk Hogan? Or Macho Man Randy Savage?
Him.
Macho Man Randy Savage is dead.
Okay.
I think he died in 2014, 2015. Macho Man Randy Savage is fuck.
What?
Oh, no, he died in 2011.
Yeah. What did he... Cause of death, cardiovascular disease. That's unfortunate. Anyway, so back on the topic...
You know what else happened? He fucking had a heart attack and died in the car accident.
That's real unfortunate.
Yeah.
What needs to be on the soundboard, Bobby? Bobby says something needs to be on the soundboard. Anywho.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, brother.
With, like, Nathan doing it or the actual clip of him doing it?
Like, oh, man. I need to find that fucking promo that Macho Man Randy Savage did where he was completely hot. And the beat goes on. And the beat goes on. He was fucking so much cocaine that night.
Anyway, so on the topic at hand, they have designed a machine that fits into a shipping container, so it's easy to move and is very secure, that can produce approximately 80 liters of synthetic fuel a day. Now, that's not that much, but the fact that it is 100% using solar power to power itself, as well as power the equipment that straight up turns carbon dioxide from the air into usable fuel, pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that's fucking great. That's, oh, man. That's 100% renewable.
Yep, it uses regenerative hydrogen and carbon dioxide, and it's just like, oh, here, I'll just use the energy I make from the sun, and I'll just take this air and poosh, here's some fuel.
That's fucking super. What, does it come out in like liquid fuel or
yeah.
like how is it?
Yeah, Liquid fuel.
Liquid?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking cool. Do you have to convert it if you're going to throw it into a vehicle or any kind of generator? Or
Well, currently this type of fuel wouldn't be able to be used in a vehicle. I mean, because it is...
So how would you use the fuel then?
You just have to... I mean, it's no different than when they're trying to make, like, hydrogen vehicles. It's a different type of...
You just have to make the thing that uses it.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't... It's not an easy replacement for, like, gasoline or petrol, which are just same things from different words from different areas. Anywho, but it is a alternate fuel source that is essentially free, clean, and just infinitely able to be produced.
That's fucking sick.
And unlike oil plants, which you have this big giant building that you need in order to produce it, this is a very compact design. It literally fits in a shipping container.
Nice.
So
nice. I feel like we should get a fuckload of shipping containers and make an assload of these.
Well, the other nice thing is because it's so small and it runs off of its own energy that it produces from solar energy, these would be really useful for like just putting in like a development area as a way to produce fuel to like fuel like machines that are working on building something.
Right. This would be huge in some of the desert areas in like Arizona, Nevada, that areas.
Now, it doesn't say like how resistant it is to the elements. This is more of like a production device.
Sure. I mean, but
not production. Prototype. That's the word I wanted.
You would still be able to build a facility around it and put the solar panels on top.
I'm trying to see if this has an answer to Kirk's question. Kirk asked if it requires hydrogen to be brought with it. But I don't remember reading anything about what you have to feed it besides just air and solar power.
It makes me wonder how that works, like how they can convert that into liquid fuel.
A mobile chemical pilot plant that can be used to decentrally to produce from... Oh, it can be used to produce gasoline from regenerative hydrogen and carbon dioxide. That's all it says. But I don't know. I don't know what regenerative hydrogen means.
Hydrogen that comes back? I don't know.
By the definition, yeah, that's what that would mean. But
I don't know.
I mean, it uses a synthesis process in order to actually produce the fuel. Nope.
It doesn't say if it uses hydrogen.
It doesn't say what you need to feed it, if anything.
Sure.
Jamie Heineman from Mythbusters was the honorary doctor of the project and officially opened it.
That's fucking amazing.
Yep.
I can't wait for these scientists to start running for office because I'm gonna fucking vote for all of them.
Just anyone that has a friggin' PhD of some sort in science.
As long as they're spouting shit that I like.
Isn't that just how politicians work in general?
Yeah, but I feel it's silly saying that. I feel like scientists are probably more genuine.
Sure. I mean, they're scientists.
And they're more fact driven, I feel.
Well, it depends. Like, in a lot of ways, yes, they're more fact driven, but there's a lot of scientists and their studies that are specifically engineered in such a way to produce a specific result because that's the result they're being paid to find.
Sure, yeah, and I can understand that. Those guys are shit scientists, and they shouldn't be labeling themselves as scientists. It's like, I feel like labeling yourself as a scientist should be the same as labeling yourself as a hero. You shouldn't be doing it for money. You should be, well, okay, so you can do it for money, but you should be doing it because it's for the good of the people. So,
very random tangent before we move on that same topic. Which movie was it? I don't remember. It was one of the Captain America movies. And someone asked him, it's like, you going to move back to Brooklyn? You know, because that's where he's from. And he's like, nah, man, I can't afford it. And I'm like, you're Captain America. No one's going to give you enough money for anything? Like...
No, dude, you make some appearances and you're fucking rich.
Like, you're trying to tell me that you have literally saved the world a few times and no one is willing to give you just a regular stipend of like, here's your superhero money to buy yourself a condo in Brooklyn.
So,
oh, Jennifer makes a good point behind me. She said he wouldn't take it.
Also, to be fair, like, heroes are supposed to be anonymous, so it would be kind of hard in the legal sense of getting them money because a lot of them don't want anybody, including the government. which was why there was the Civil War for Marvel, to know their secret identity.
Yeah, but well, also, first off, realistically, all of the people that needed to know those secret identities that weren't bad guys, and even the bad guys knew who they were.
Yeah.
So, I mean, meh.
I mean, that doesn't stop them from wanting to try, you know?
Anywho, moving forward. 8. United Nations Human Rights Board discusses universal basic income.
This was submitted by CRS2Per to Our Futurology.
So this actual... I'm not even going to call it an article. It just links to the UN page.
A fucking stub?
No, it's an hour and a half long video of them discussing it.
Oh, okay.
So instead, let's just talk about universal basic income. Kirk has already responded with saying this terrifies me. So the question is, real quick, and we've talked about it a few times right now, is the concept of universal basic income. And on a very basic level, what that means is that everybody, after a certain point, based on random criteria that aren't actually predetermined yet at this point, would just receive money for existing. And so, like, if you are over the age of, like, 18 and a citizen of the United States, you will be mailed a check every 2 weeks or a month or whatever in the amount of, like, $700. Universal basic income. Everybody gets it. This is your basic income for whatever. It's literally just a check you get. The concept behind it is that as automation and just technology in general moves forward, the majority of jobs that people currently use, or not use, do, will no longer be necessary. There will still be work. There will just be substantially less work. So, I mean, even like McDonald's jobs, a lot of them are being replaced by automation. You can find several McDonald's across the world that the person that takes your order has been replaced with a touch screen. And so as more of these jobs on both higher and lower levels, I mean, another example is the coal industry. President of the United States, Donald Trump, has talked about how he wants to give more people jobs in the coal industry. But because of the pains of the coal industry and how they're a waning resource, a large number of the factories have went to a very large amount of automation. And yes, you can replace these people with robots and then give the people you replace jobs to work on the robots, but the realistic thing is you can replace 10 people with 10 robots and then have one person to maintain those 10 robots. So either way, the job pool continues to get smaller. But if no one has a job, no one has any money, which means no one's spending money, which means the economy goes and so the idea would be and it's literally a band-aid of let's just give everyone money. Mm-hmm. That is the very basic explanation of universal basic income. So there's already people going at it in the chat room. Kirk says, I kind of think this is like welfare on crack. In a lot of ways, yeah, I could see how it would basically be welfare on crack. And the problem is basically maintaining economy is really what its purpose is actually for. Businesses don't survive if no one buys any of their products, but you can't buy their products if you don't have any money, and if you can't get a job because robots took them all, then you can't get any money.
Yeah, no. It's kind of an interesting thing because at this point it just becomes almost free trade.
Well, and like this is also the reason why communism works really well on paper. Is like, well, you just get what you need. There's no need for money because everything is available. But human nature takes over and people are greedy, so that'll never work.
Yeah.
And how did like the other possibility then is, well, there's two distinct possibilities that are brought forward, and one is Mad Max and the other one is Star Trek, of that everything goes to the point that it basically collapses in on itself and just anarchy takes over, and the other one is that we get over ourselves and the United Federation of Planets is instituted.
I feel like it's less one or the other and more both. Both are probably going to happen. There's going to be a collapse. People are going to start freaking out. Mad Max might start happening. And then from there, we're going to realize that we can't let that happen. We are not actual dickbags. And then we're all going to band together and make the fucking space programs that we need.
Sure. Well, and I mean, if space opens up, that'll open up a lot of jobs, right?
Sure.
So
shit, you can become an explorer at that point. I really want to do that. I'd fucking love going out into space.
Sure. So, I mean, if we do get space as a new avenue, there will be a lot of jobs in that facet. Now, if it is actually, it'll just depend on how soon that happens and also what happens between then and now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Zach says, didn't they tell that story in Star Ocean as well? I don't know. I've never played a single Star Ocean game.
I've played a Star Ocean game, but it was on PlayStation 2. And then I didn't play very much. And then I've been playing, I tend to like play 20 minutes of games and then get really bored and stop playing them, which is really unfortunate because there are some games that get a lot better after 20 minutes. But at the same time, I feel like if you're not captivating me within 20 minutes or so of this game, then fuck, I don't know why I'm playing the game.
Oh, I do the same thing. And it's also one of the things that bugs me about some like suggestions of people. They're like, you should read this series. It gets really good after the second book.
Yeah, that I'm just like, no, fuck that. I'm not reading 2 books for it to finally be good. No, and that's why for TV shows, I generally give them 5 episodes unless someone says that it's just slightly after 5 episodes that it gets better. Like if it's in the same season and it's within, I don't know, maybe 12 episodes of the 5-episode mark, then I'll continue to watch.
Yeah, I'll give a game probably about like 2 hours.
I can understand that.
Especially because I play a lot of RPGs, so RPGs normally have a ton of stuff they have to set up of like, this is who this person is, this is who this person is, and now here's the main conflict of the story. Mm-hmm. And just because of how games work of like tutorials and stuff, that can actually eat up a good amount of time. I'll normally give books like a couple chapters at best, but you really should hook me in the first chapter if you intend for me to actually go through a book.
Oh, man. So it reminds me of the time I read the first 2 Twilight books. So I was really into this girl in high school, and she was like, hey, you should read this book, and we can discuss it. And I'm like, I'll read this book. And so I start reading this book, and it's incredibly boring, and the cool shit that was going to happen at the end didn't happen because she blacked out. So I was like, this is fucking stupid, and I don't like this book. She's like, oh, that's okay. The second book is much better. And I read the second book, and it was absolute drivel. And I was like, no, I'm not reading this anymore. Like, this is not a good book. And she's like, it's all right. In the third book, there's some action. And I was like, nope, I'm not reading the third book. That's not going to happen.
I made it probably about 7 chapters into the Twilight books, but Stephenie Meyer is such a bad author. Like, yeah. The story she's trying to present...
all right, hold on, real quick. I'm sorry, Sarah, because I know you really love these books, but they're just not very great.
Well, like, the story she's trying to present is interesting to me. Like, it's a decent story, but she is terrible at writing.
It's not even a love story. They don't love each other.
That's fine.
It doesn't
need to be a love story.
It's not even an interesting story, really.
So we are so far away from universal basic income. Shall we just move on?
I'll tell you what, we need universal basic good books.
That's fair and understanding.
Yeah. I forgot we were talking about income.
7.
LeVar Burton sued for using his Reading Rainbow catchphrase on his podcast.
What was the catchphrase?
I could have told you all the way up until you asked. Yeah, Jennifer just had it. Don't take my word for it.
No.
But you don't have to.
We're not getting sued.
What? Shut up. But you don't have to take my word for it, is what the catchphrase was.
This was submitted by Wham Bam Thank You Cam to our television.
So this has actually been going on for a while. This is actually a new piece in this ongoing battle over the Reading Rainbow property, because the original people that helped actually produce Reading Rainbow are out of Buffalo, New York, and they are called WNED-TV. And they believe that they should have the rights to Reading Rainbow because they're the original ones that helped create it, where LeVar Burton was just the face. Now, LeVar Burton kind of is what made Reading Rainbow, and that's why he was like trying to take Reading Rainbow to Netflix. And as soon as he tried to do that back in 2015, I think is when he tried to take it to Netflix, WNED-TV like just went haywire of like, you're not allowed to do that. That's ours. And so they've been locked in this battle since then. Now, he has a podcast. Although I don't see... and it's called LeVar Burton Reads, which he describes the podcast as Reading Rainbow for Adults.
Ooh. And what is he reading, like Game of Thrones and shit?
I have no idea.
Take a look.
According to Jennifer off of my site, he reads short stories.
Oh, that's really cool.
But in that show, he'll often say, but you don't have to take my word for it. And so now, in addition to the battle over being able to bring Reading Rainbow into the modern day, he is also now being sued by WNED-TV over him saying that line on his podcast. And they are claiming that he is trying to profit from the good nature of Reading Rainbow in his current events. Trying to take the positive image of the brand and take it with him and profit from it, even though it's theirs.
I feel like this is very interesting because this actually strikes wrestlers very often.
Yeah.
For example, you have wrestlers that wrestled in WWE.
Okay.
I'll name drop two of them right now.
Sure.
You had John Morrison.
Okay.
And you had Alberto Del Rio.
Okay.
Right? Both of them decided to stop wrestling in WWE and to start wrestling in either AAA or Lucha Underground, whatever lucha they wanted to do it in, right?
Okay.
They had to go over there, but they couldn't use their actual names. They couldn't use John Morrison or Alberto Del Rio. And I actually don't know if that's their actual names, but they could not use those names. So John Morrison became Johnny Mundo, and Alberto Del Rio became Alberto El Patron.
Okay.
But because of the copyright issues with their own fucking names, they couldn't use it. And that happens too with not only their names, but their gimmicks. Some of them aren't allowed to transfer gimmicks from companies. They're not allowed to transfer their little sayings from one company to another because WWE is just like, nope. WWE is incredibly greedy. So they're like, nope, we want literally all of the money you can ever get from that one phrase.
Jennifer said that The Rock has also went through similar struggles.
Yep, he has. And that's another reason why the Bullet Club was so kind of hesitant to fully come over to WWE is because they had that Bullet Club everything, the Bullet Club T-shirt and everything in Japan, and they still have the Bullet Club in Japan. They don't have the Bullet Club in WWE.
Sure.
All of the original members of the Bullet Club are in WWE, I think, except for like maybe two of them. I think the Young Bucks aren't. But they can't use the term Bullet Club, so they call it the Balor Club because one of the guys, his name is Finn Balor.
Okay.
And so they make T-shirts that look exactly like the Bullet Club shirts, but it says Balor Club. Bullet Club shirts still sell way fucking more, and on top of that, you can get Bullet Club T-shirts in the Tekken 7 game. It makes me so happy watching King dress up in an actual wrestling T-shirt.
So, back onto the topic here at hand. The current lawsuit states, and I quote, as evidenced by Mr. Burton's conduct since he began teasing the public about the return of Reading Rainbow years before his company acquired any rights to do so, Mr. Burton's goal is to control and reap the benefits of Reading Rainbow's substantial goodwill that unquestionably belongs to WNED. The suit continues to allege copyright infringement, conversion, cyber squatting, violations of the Lanham Act, breach of contract, and interference with customer relations. And it seeks profits from LeVar Burton Reads, which is his podcast. Now that said, like as Kirk has already put into the chat room, the simple phrase, but you don't have to take my word for it, is a turn of phrase, and you can't really copyright those. So I don't know how much of a claim they're going to have over anything. The Rock had the phrase, "Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?" and now he can't even say that. That's a lot more specific, though. Okay, so he can't even say, "Can you smell what I'm cooking?" Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure because it's fairly fucking close.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough details about that. But at the same time, like, it's still specific enough about him. Whereas, I mean, more people than just LeVar Burton use the phrase, "You don't have to take my word for it." Mm-hmm. Now, that said, he does have a very strong connection to the phrase with, Reading Rainbow and all that jazz. But at the same time, man, WNED, you guys are just jerks. It'd be different if they were trying to, like, actually pursue and push something with Reading Rainbow. But more realistically, they're trying to sue him over cyber squatting. But it feels more like they are. Like, no, that's ours. You can't use it. And it's like, but you said I could use it. Yeah, but you're going to make money off of it, so we don't want you to use it.
Yeah, it's fucking wacky.
It's like, are you going to do anything with it? Well, no. Then
let me fucking use it. I've been using it for X amount of years.
Yeah. So we wish you luck, LeVar Burton, because everybody loves you.
Yeah, definitely. You go, man.
You go, man. You go. On a boat ride with Troy.
Maybe not a boat ride, unless you count the spaceship as a boat.
Talking about Community, dude.
Yeah, I know, and I'm talking about Star Trek.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, fine.
Because if you didn't remember, LeVar Burton's in that too.
I never watched Star Trek.
LeVar Burton had, like, the fucking eye thing. He was in Enterprise. Oh my goodness, Enterprise was so fucking good.
Anywho, North Korea is seriously considering strike on Guam, reports citing state media.
This was submitted by Frisco Danconia to our news.
So, in their recent fit of their leader, who is a baby with a hand grenade, the recent statements have come out.
Isn't that no, okay, never mind. It's Hobo with a Shotgun. I was confused. I thought Baby with a Hand Grenade was a song. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Hobo with a Shotgun was a movie.
Okay, sure. I'll take your word for it. Because I don't know.
Dude, Hobo with a Shotgun's a good movie.
Anywho, North Korea said on Wednesday it is carefully examining a plan to strike the U.S. Pacific territory of Guam with missiles. This is just hours after...
The U.S. Pacific territory of Guam.
Oh, did I say specific?
I don't know, but I heard it as specific.
Oh, Pacific territory of Guam with missiles. And this is just hours after Donald Trump said that any threat against the United States would be met with fire and fury.
God damn it.
So, as this continues to go on, so I'd actually put it as my thing that I cared about in the last 24 hours, but I'll have something else that I can put in there. There was a Reddit user that made a very good point, IMO, in regards to why you should be less concerned about the entire North Korean American conflict. And basically the reason being is that borderline, no matter the circumstances, neither country is going to be willing to strike first. At this point, both countries at the same time are sitting there like with their arms, behind their back going, hit me, bro. Hit me. You won't. Hit me. Hit me. And
yeah, they're like, square up, dude. Fucking square up.
Looking at their friends, hold me back, man. Hold me back. Hold me back. And the reason being is that, one, North Korea literally has no shadow of a hope of winning against us. Ever. Like... They have reportedly around 60 nuclear warheads to our 7,500, and we're huge. They're small. They don't have a whole lot of land. We have a ton. We are spread out all over the place across multiple countries. They're locked inside their little walls that they built. And basically, the reason that they've
pretty much sieged themselves.
In a lot of ways, yeah. And this user explains that the reason that they're doing this is not truly because of aggression against the United States. It is basically a form of propaganda, because North Korea is having specifically the Jong regime is having a very hard time maintaining control over their country, especially as more and more of the outside world bleeds into North Korea. Like, when they make these claims, it is to fuel their own rhetoric inside their own country to maintain a level of control and, I guess, brainwashing over their own citizens. But as culture begins to bleed past their borders, as we continue to literally just parachute flash drives with South Korean media showing what a good life everyone else in the world has.
Not only that, but we fucking dropped the interview in there too.
They're slowly losing their grasp over their
own people. There's slowly going to be a coup eventually.
Well, and it's literally cultural domination is what is happening, and they're trying to prevent that with hyper-aggressive actions. Military displays inside their own country, threats to other countries, when in reality they don't even have a ball in the game. So
they're the little brother that's like, dude, I want to fight like the big kids.
Well, and the issue is like, it's... really, neither country can strike first, because if either country does, then they're the ones that are wrong. If North Korea strikes anywhere, everyone in the world is going to be like, hey, okay, we tolerated you. You did something actually bad. Now sit down. And they won't have any way to defend against the world saying no. And then if America goes in, if we strike first, then we just look like the assholes.
The biggest fucking pricks, and no one's going to trust us.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if we don't have a public backing, and I mean, not just our people, but from other world leaders. I mean, because if we were to just, like, tomorrow just hit North Korea, it would severely damage our relations with South Korea.
Not only that, it would also severely damage our relations with China, which we're trying to repair.
Yeah. So, basically, the only thing that we can do, realistically, is just to sit on it, essentially. Stop talking about what North Korea is capable of and start talking about what North Korea wants. It wants to maintain its own status quo. We are extremely capable in defensive terms. I mean, we have, 3 THAAD missile defense systems sitting around just ready to take down anything that goes up in the sky. And like those THAAD defense systems are also what is also straining our relations with China and Russia, because we have one in South Korea that we're like, this is to defend everyone from North Korea. But China and Russia are like, yeah, but it also can shoot down our missiles. And that's kind of a feel bad.
Kirk says in Alaska alone.
Yeah. Well, we also have one right on their border too.
And a lot of angry Alaskans.
Yeah, lots of angry Alaskans. So basically what they're getting at is be less concerned that anything will happen, because more than likely nothing will. And if anything does happen from them, it'll immediately be dealt with.
There's going to be instantaneous backlash. As soon as that bomb drops, there are going to be people in fucking NATO talking about how they are no longer funding North Korea and that they're going to be sending in troops.
Well, that's the other problem that North Korea has, though, is...
in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they already have those documents drafted and they're just waiting.
Well, I mean, what was it? It was like, a month ago? 3 weeks ago that NATO voted 15-0 absolutely unanimously against very harsh sanctions against North Korea. Basically,
it wasn't just North Korea, though. It was like North Korea, Russia, and Iran.
Well, those are different sections, though.
Oh, okay.
The one against North Korea basically said no one buy anything from them until they play nice.
See, I thought it was not just the. I thought it was a conglomerate of all 3 of them.
Well, they're different sections essentially, because like the vote for the ones on North Korea was not the same one of when we had the vote on Russia, because the sanctions on Russia are being placed by us. And our Congress is the one that voted for those sanctions, whereas NATO is, a separate organization.
Yeah, they're more trying to be like the world government.
Or something.
Something similar.
It's very confusing between like the UN...
The League of Nations, if you will.
Sure. I mean, maybe.
5.
A 97-year-old veteran is murdered in his pajamas as Baltimore struggles to contain the killings.
This was submitted by Dr. Salted to our news. Was this was it like a 72-hour ceasefire?
No.
Was that in Baltimore?
Maybe? I know what you're talking about, but that was not this.
I read something about it on BBC today. It was like a 72-hour ceasefire in, I think it was Baltimore, because they have some of the highest deaths. It was like a person dies a day generally.
Well, I mean, we reported on it about that group that was advocating for them to take a weekend off.
I read what happened, and they only had like 3 murders. But it all happened in one day.
Sure.
So there's 2 days where there is no murders. So
in this case, though, 2015 was the most death-filled year for Baltimore, because it was right after the Baltimore riots, and so things just went, whoa! 16 people thought it was calming down, but 2017 seems to be just swinging for the fences.
Yeah, murder central.
Well, they have already had, 211 murders this year.
God.
Just in Baltimore.
How many days have there been this year?
I don't know. That's not math that I'm good at.
Well, I mean, same. Convert it into ounces for me.
What?
I'm kidding.
I mean, I can figure it out real quick. Date-to-date calculator. How many days is from 1/1/2017 to 8/9/2017? 220.
Okay, and how many deaths were there?
211.
Damn. Almost one a day, guys. You are almost there.
He's so upset. You guys are slacking. Come on.
Fucking, you need to up those numbers.
Those are rookie numbers. God damn it.
That's a good movie.
In this case, though, the most recent murder, at least the most recent reported murder, was a 97-year-old man that was bludgeoned to death in his home after he refused to leave. They broke in, wanted his stuff, and he wasn't going to leave and wasn't going to let them take his stuff, so they literally just beat him to death.
Wow, that's pretty fucked up. That reminds me, kind of reminds me of A Clockwork Orange.
I have not seen that movie either.
Stanley Kubrick is probably my second favorite director of all time, actually. Yeah.
Who's the first?
Sam Raimi.
Okay.
100% Sam Raimi. Anyways, as I was saying, there's a scene in it where the main character, Alex DeLarge, gets thrown in prison. What happens was he's in a gang and he loves ultraviolence. They'll go around and just fuck people up. Well, they broke into this guy's house. They fucked him up. They raped his wife, killed her. Shit like that. He couldn't walk anymore. But there's the time that he got caught. They were trying to break into this lady's house, and they were doing this thing where they were knocking the door saying, "Hey, my friend got ran over in the road. Can I come in and use your phone?" And she kept saying, "No, no, no." And so he broke in through the window, and he's trying to rob her, and she attacks him, and he's like freaking out, and he picks up this giant penis statue, and he beats her to death with the penis statue.
Okay.
And then as he's trying to get out, he gets smashed in the face with, I think, a milk bottle, and that causes him to get knocked out, and the police capture him. But it's similar because it's a person trying to burglarize an old person and then beating them to death.
Sure.
Because they kept saying no.
4.
FBI conducted raid of Paul Manafort's home.
This was submitted by Usagi Mimi to our news.
Yep, so as part of after getting the grand jury, Robert Mueller has moved forward with the Russian investigation. In this case, he got a warrant in order to acquire a very vast amount of records and information from Paul Manafort's home. And so before dawn, they walked up and asked him if they could come inside, and he let them inside, and they took everything they wanted and left.
Nice, he was very compliant.
He has always been very compliant. Like, I mean, he's he's not, offering them the keys to the mansion, essentially, but he's never been a roadblock. He's never he's never obstructed the investigation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's always been compliant.
Yep. So, either way, we'll see what comes from that, but just know that the investigation continues on. The real story is our next piece, and that is what happened after this happened.
Mm-hmm.
3.
Trump calls for acting FBI directors firing hours after FBI agents raid Paul Manafort's home.
This was submitted by Goya Bean to our politics. Who's the active FBI director right now?
Oh, I don't remember.
That's 2, actually. 2 FBI directors you're trying to fire.
Yeah, he is, because, like, this makes you look so bad. Just
there has
so
only been a
bad.
small directors that have ever been sacked, and you're trying to double the numbers?
Andrew McCabe is his name.
My audio cut out.
Well, yeah, you're breaking up real bad, and your video is frozen.
You cut out. The live video is interrupted.
Is it on my end?
Michael, are you still there?
Yeah, I am still here, but you are not still here. Is it my end or yours? I can't actually tell. Nathan? I think it's on my end because I don't have any internet connection.